first game Lombard Jr. has been on?
0 for 4 this afternoon, unfortunately for the kid. He's put the ball in play a ton. He strikes out against Munoz to end the game, which is, nothing to scoff at. That slider from Munoz is absolutely lethal for him. That's his best pitch as the closer for Seattle. Puts the ball in play a couple times, gets a little unlucky. Canzone in right field tracked down a couple of his hits, or a couple of the balls he put in play, and made a nice catch in the outfield. So I'm not too concerned about it. He comes into today batting, 308, I think we saw?
320.
Yeah.
320. Came in hitting 320 with almost a 400 on base percentage. I mean, listen, I'm not worried about Lombard. He's the least of my worries. Jazz Chisholm still stinks. Still, he'll go out there and go 0 for and not even look fazed about it. Some of these other guys in the lineup, they go up there and they're just outs. That's what we would look at these guys and be like, that guy's an out. That guy's an out. So that's a problem for the Yankees. I mean, you don't want to go into the postseason because you're going to face a lot of guys that look like Logan Gilbert. You got 42 games left, 41 games left for most teams, and this is when you start looking at what kind of lineup are we going to throw out there. Are we going to throw out, I said this the other day, are we going to throw the lineup out there that looked great the first couple of games against Seattle, and Grisham had a couple of home runs in one game, or are we going to throw out the team that we threw out there today that gets shut down by good pitching? And you tip your hat to good pitching. It's not even about whether or not Lombard looks good or the other guy. It's, what have you paid for? What are the guys in the lineup that you've traded for guys to get them on this team? You've traded for guys in your bullpen. You've traded for guys or signed guys to hundreds of millions of dollars contracts. Rodon will be throwing a rehab start tonight. How does he feel tomorrow? Those are things that you worry about. So, one game out of 162, not a big deal. Red Sox win. They win 7-0. They get a grand slam to solidify it late in the game. But it was a 1-0 game most of the game, just like the Yankees. Peyton Tolley, rookie, looked great. People are like buzzing. I turned that on after the Yankee game, and their announcers are like, oh, this guy's probably going to start game one of the postseason. This is what we should be talking about. Schlittler, is he your game one starter? Or is it Cole? Is it Fried? Those are things that right now the analytics nerds are working on for the Yankees. Same thing should be going on for the Red Sox. Red Sox look like they're going to make it to the postseason. But are you that team that won a bunch of games, won 9 series in a row, or you're the team that just dumped 5 to 2 sub-500 teams? Is that the team you're taking to the postseason? I hear a lot of Red Sox fans. I'm not worried. I'm worried. I saw some reality there. Some young players that if they face good pitching come postseason, they're going to not hit well, and they're not going to be able to hit well with 2 strikes. So those should be the concerns that keep the fans for the Yankees and the Red Sox up at night.
Yeah, because it's the inconsistency with the lineup, too. And big picture, you're focused on October, right? You're going to get there.
Yep.
And it begs the question, will Cam Schlittler be the game one starter for the Yankees? On paper, he's been the best, most consistent pitcher. He's still right there, pound for pound, for the AL Cy Young. He's lethal on the road. So if you're on the road in a wild card series, yeah, I'd take your chances. Fried and Cole,
I think
of course.
Schlittler's your Cy Young. Dylan Cease, 7-5. I don't care what his ERA is. I mean, he could come out with the bases loaded and the bullpen picks him up every time. I'd have to dig deeper if I had a vote. There's a lot of reasons why guys, and the thing about Dylan Cease that I love, he's 6-1 on the road with a 1.7 ERA. And this is the thing that, we talk about Schlittler and you talk about winning Cy Youngs. And this is, again, Yankees are probably going to have to start the postseason on the road. And if I had to start on the road and I had Cam Schlittler,
I agree.
This is the guy I hand the ball to. This is the guy that on the road this year, and I don't care that he's a young guy, 8-2 with a 1.1 earned run average and 14 starts on the road this year. Absolutely breathtaking. Hitters hitting 156 off to this cat in their own ballpark. So, Schlittler gets the ball on the road. That guy's money.
Oh, yeah. Nick, you agree? I mean, you get Schlittler on the road especially, or at home. He's just been the most consistent guy for the Yankees.
He's 2-4 with a 3.9, so I beg to differ. He's not money. at home. His ERA goes up almost 3 runs. That's a different story. So pitching at Yankee Stadium for Schlittler, night and day for this kid. 8-2 on the road, 2-4 with the almost 4 ERA at home.
As it stands right now, I think regardless if you're home or away, obviously the numbers and the stats back up that he's been better away from the Bronx than he has when he's pitching at home. And he's come flat out and addressed that himself in post-game pressers. I think it happened last week where they play in Chicago at home. He drops the game. He gets tagged up a little bit. Anyways, game
he just
one,
like staying at the Ritz-Carlton. Who wouldn't?
Exactly. Game one, you're going to Cam, right? He's your AL Cy Young candidate. He's got electric stuff. And all things considered, regardless whether you have Cole still healthy, Fried's looked fantastic since coming back. I think Cam's the guy you lean on. He showed it last year against Boston in the wild card, that pivotal game 3. He was lights out on the mound. I think you give him the ball to start game 1.
I think the problem is that then they'll start looking, and this is always what the media will do, what Aaron Boone's going to do. Well, we're not paying this guy $35-40 million a year to be the number 2 starter in the postseason. They'll come back at us with Cole's making X, Fried's making X, Rodon's getting paid. That's going to be their answer. Is all about money. Listen, if I'm the pitching coach, I go and I'm like, listen, dude, you want to win, you go with this guy. And then then you got Cole, Fried, Rodon, or you could move those lefties in between the righties. Do whatever you need to do. But when you're going in the less games, the five game rounds or the 3 game rounds, I'm going with Schlittler in one of those 3 games.
Real quick, Rob, while we're still talking about Schlittler, we discussed this, Michael and I, on the program while you were away on vacation last week. Schlittler, for the large portion of the season, obviously, has been lights out. He's been nails for the Yankees. But in those outings that he does get tagged up, and they have oftentimes been at home, the teams that employ the strategy of choking up on the bat, shortening their swings, and kind of just looking to make contact against him and spoil pitch after pitch when he's committed to that high-velocity fastball, those are the teams that have had success. The White Sox did it. They spoiled a lot of pitches and just essentially wore Cam down until he eventually made a mistake.
Detroit did it at the end of June.
Yep.
4 innings, 6 earnings, 4 home runs, and they were just trying to put the ball in play on him, and he got into trouble early. I remember that outing.
Exactly. And basically, to circle around to my question here, if you're Matt Blake, and even if you're Cam Schlittler, if Matt Blake comes to you and says, hey, we've seen you've had success when you mix in that curveball or that sweeper, we want to see you utilize that more. Don't lean on the four-seamer and the cutter at 98, 99 miles an hour so much, because they're going to spoil that. They're going to run up your pitch count, and they're having success. Do you think that's a pitch that Cam, come the postseason, if teams are fouling off pitches, driving his pitch count up, and do you think that's a put-away pitch he should lean on more, or is it too late in the season to refine that?
The number one thing with pitching is you want him to hit on top of the ball. You want him to hit ground balls. And let's just start there. So regardless of the strikeouts, and I know he strikes out a bunch of people, and people love strikeouts, and I was a strikeout guy. But I was focused on keeping the ball below the belt, around knee level, have them top it. I don't care if it's slider, sweeper, whatever you want to call it. If I was throwing it sidearm to righties or down at the back foot of a lefty, I want to jam that guy, or I want to tie up his hands and his arms. And literally, so here's how I teach young pitchers. Literally, I was taught to cut a hitter's arms off at the elbow with the pitch. As he goes to extend, I'm going to make sure that he's not going to get a good piece of the ball. So what you're talking about, Nick, is a four-seam. He can barrel it up better.
Yeah.
A curveball, a sweeper, a changeup, a sinker, it's hard to barrel up. You're going to get the end of the bat. You're going to get the middle of the bat. You're going to break some bats on righties with the sinker down and in. Those are the kind of pitches that come postseason you want. It's colder in October. You don't want to get jammed. And so you just have to work ahead. Listening to all the greatest that have ever pitched, strike one is still the best pitch in baseball, not 105. You get strike one, 7 out of 10 times you get an out. You get 0-2, 9 out of 10 times you get an out. So that's if he's throwing strikes, and he throws a lot of strikes, you attack the strike zone, you get ahead, and you go with the off-speed stuff.
Yeah,
gotcha.
You have to attack. I mean, attack early in the count, and he's got the fastball to do it too. I'm so glad you brought the money point about this too, Rob, because that's always the Yankees' argument. Well, Cole's getting $36 million a year.
Yeah.
Fried's getting right around that. Rodon gets a lot of money too, $27.5 million. In fact, I think Fried's 28. I know, believe it or not, and the dude's not healthy and hasn't consistently pitched in the postseason. I don't care. It's about winning. It's about putting your best guy out there that you trust. Schlittler's also proven. Now, despite not a good home ERA this regular season, he shut down the Red Sox and went 8 shutout innings at Yankee Stadium in a winner-take-all wild card series game. So he has proven he can pitch in an elimination game under the bright lights. Now, I know things may change, from season to season, but he's who I want out there. I think
you get
unless he implodes 3 of his last 4 starts in his ERA, he has like a 5 ERA over his last 4 starts, then maybe not. He's more than earned it too. That's the thing. He's been consistent. Fried only went 5. I mean, Fried's pitched well, but some of the starts he's been.
And I think
pulled
he's still on a 75 pitch limit.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not got the full long leash that a guy like Schlittler has. He's going to go out there and Boone is like, hey, let's not go to the bullpen early, Cam. Let's go 7 or 8 strong and wrap this baby up quickly. But Schlittler's more than proven it. He looks really good and confident out there. He's got nasty stuff. Similar to Mizorowski. Mizorowski just has a little bit more velocity, right? But he's just got good movement. The key is going to be locating his fastball. The only time Schlittler gets burned is when he leaves that fastball over the plate. Because if a guy connects, it's most likely over the fence, or it's a wicked high exit velocity. And just locating his pitches, something you talk about all the time, Rob, and he'll be fine. Look, I know there's, it's August 13th. We've got some time between now and late September, early October when the postseason begins. Schlittler, I think, stays consistent between now and then and should be the Game 1 starter. Yankees are going to have a decision. Aaron Boone, you're going to have a tough decision for Game 1, but go with who gives you the best shot to win. That should be it.
And I agree. And here's the thing: you got to fight for Schlittler if you're Boone. You got to come out and say I would prefer him to start if it's a road game, because he's been unbelievable on the road this year. He's earned that.
Yes.
First time through the order, 182 against him. Second time, 184. Third time through the order, 252. I mean, this guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let me give you the righty versus lefty. It's like ridiculous. Left-handers are hitting 201 off of him this season. Right-handers, 188. I mean, listen, and I know we're blowing smoke on Schlittler, but, he's 25, and if I go back to even the 70s, you could look up like Bob Welsh, and you can look up these other guys that would either come out of the bullpen or they would start games because they're just fresher in October. Old guys are not fresh. You could look up Greg Maddux. You could look up Tom Glavine in the postseason. You know who's the better pitcher? Smoltz. I almost said Schmaltz. Smoltz. May the Schmaltz be with you. Anyway.
Old Schmaltzy.
Yeah, so Smoltz was the better postseason performer. Andy Pettitte as a younger pitcher, and even as his career went on, he won like 20 postseason games.
Yeah.
Go with the young guy that throws strikes and give him a shot. And listen, Cole could hit a point. We could talk about Skeens. I know we got to take a break, but Skeens is hitting a wall as a younger pitcher.
Yeah.
Mizorowski has hit a wall as a younger pitcher. You always get to a point where innings overload, strikeout overload, velocity overload is going to overcome your arm.
Yeah.
And it's nothing new. It's not like, oh my God, how is this happening? It happens to everybody. So if the velocity is staying good for Schlittler, his second, third time through the batting order, all of the intangibles like the curveball rotation is still 2,500 or 2,400, whatever his curveball rotations are. Whatever those are, and if they're still consistent, unlike Skeens in his last start. It's unbelievable. You make 25 starts, you have one bad one, and your velocity goes down. People are pushing the panic button. I'm not panicked at all about Skeens. He's a big guy. I was a big guy. It happens to the best of us. Your velocity, your second, third season in the major leagues, in August and September, they call them the dog days, sometimes goes down. It doesn't mean your career's over.
No, it doesn't. Exactly right. And it's funny how it works. God.
Yeah,
guys are good in regular season, not good in the postseason.